Hello, welcome to the Let's Ask Richard show, everybody.
Hi there. She's always taller than me in these things.
It's my posture. You just have to sit up on the edge of the, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I taller than you now?
No, yeah, now we're good. We're equally matched now.
Really? I can never be your equal.
Hey, happy last day of January, guys. I am so happy to say goodbye to January. I'm going to be like, goodbye. I am so ready. I'm ready.
I'm sick of the cold.
Yeah, winter's kind of lost its charm a little bit for me. You know, we got a little snow, pretty white, but it's definitely all right. It's still a little charm.
I'm dreaming of a warm spring.
Yes, me too.
Yes.
I'm ready for the daffodils and the tulips and yeah, I don't know. All right, it's still a little bit charming, but I don't know. I'm cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's winter. It's okay. We all love the
Well,
weather.
if you let me turn the heat up, you wouldn't be as cold.
No, I keep the heat up.
Oh.
That's one thing. We don't argue about the temperature.
No, we don't. You just set it where you want, and
I set it where I want it.
I'm happy.
And we're good. So we got that going.
All right.
Yay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming out. And thanks for sending in your questions, too. We love that. And it kind of keeps the show going, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. Questions are the bones.
If we didn't have the questions, then we'd have to tell jokes.
Right. And you don't want to hear me tell jokes because they might not be politically correct or...
Some of them not. But we have had a request for one of Richard's jokes. And so maybe one day he'll muster up the courage. He actually just told me a joke. He just told me a joke to get me sort of relaxed, and it was pretty cute. It was clean.
It was cute.
It was politically correct too. I mean, I guess unless you get a thing about McDonald's. But,
Okay. All right.
But maybe we'll tell it another time.
Another time.
All right. All right, guys.
We keep people interested in watching the show.
That's right. Hang in there. One night you're going to get a joke.
All right.
So this is where, if this is your first time here. This is the Let's Ask Richard show. I am Jill Potter. I am a life coach for women, and I stand for loving relationships with yourself, with others, and this is my lovely boyfriend Richard,
who is a certified nothing.
Right, and he does that so well. You do that so well.
I am. I don't know. I have nothing.
Well, thanks for being here.
I have maybe some common sense every now and then. Maybe on Tuesdays.
Yeah, and you always have a nice suit and a nice tie.
No, I dress up for it tonight. Usually I don't wear a tie.
Pocket square.
But yeah.
Yeah, you're looking sharp, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so we have a couple of questions. So let's just jump right in, all right? Actually, it's not really, the first one isn't really a question. It's more just a troubling scenario. Here we go. Hi guys, I am a single mom, and so far this has been my experience of online dating. Immature, selfish losers that expect me to drop everything only to cancel the date 15 minutes before our date and suggest meeting at their house, where they ultimately can't wait until you take your coat off before they try kissing you and want to jump into bed. Oh. Or how about the guys who claim online that they want a relationship and are ready to settle down? They go through ready to settle down. They go through the motions of texting for a couple of weeks, make the phone calls, throw on the charm, finally want to meet, and then see above. Okay, so then that doesn't work out either. And there's always the head over heels for this guy feeling, getting hooked in, and eventually finding out they're already in a committed relationship. How about the guys that are sweet, genuine, and stable that friends and family disapprove of for various reasons, such as religion, tattoos, smoking, bikers, etc.?
Okay.
And there you have it.
A lot of questions there.
That's the challenge. That's the challenge.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry?
No, you didn't say. I sort of answered.
You're sorry. You're sorry on behalf of all those guys that are
yeah.
Not
but you
doing it
didn't
right.
say let's ask Richard. So
let's ask Richard. Richard, what do you think?
The first part of it, where it starts going well, it doesn't go well. It goes in the right direction, then it flies off the other way. I think online dating is like you got to separate the wheat from the chaff, and unfortunately, I think you got a lot of chaff here. And unfortunately, that's the process,
It
right?
is. Yes, indeed.
You know, we both met a lot of chaff. So, that's one thought I had. And then the other part is, and let me go back a little bit. There's a lot of, I think online dating is very hard for women, or at least I've been told that online dating is hard for women because you got a lot of horn dogs out there that they just, hey, as a woman, I just want to get my clothes off and, have things happen, and I really don't care about anything else but getting naked. So that's tough, and I don't know how women deal with the fact that, you're dating a lot of horn dogs or meeting a lot of horn dogs. I just think you have to be strong in what you do. The other part is when you get into the thing that the family doesn't approve of. I almost think you have to dismiss your family because you could be the nicest guy in the world, yet have full body tattoos. But that doesn't make him a bad person, right? Or he may be a Harley driver. He may smoke 6 packs a day, but how do you feel about him? Yeah, it's not. If the guy's a serious drinker, like he's drunk every night and he starts drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, well, maybe that's something you should be cognizant of. But, if your family doesn't like him because he's a Catholic or something like that, and then I think here I almost want to say I think your family should grow up and let you live your life.
Wow, very good.
Thank God my mother isn't here. That I was
Dating a Catholic?
Oh my God! No, Mom would love you.
Aw, yeah.
But I don't know. Let's ask Jill.
All right.
What do you think?
Well, I guess I experienced a lot of these similar kind of scenarios when I was dating. Just different versions, but a lot of the same stuff. And so I jotted down a couple of notes. I think, I could sort of go into the technicalities of, how you can sort of, cut this kind of stuff off, nip it in the bud, kind of thing, which, is one train of thought. But I think for me, I reached a point where I said to myself, so this is my life, and I'm the common denominator in all this. And so what is it? Like, what is it about me that's attracting these kind of experiences? And I think that was definitely the turning point for me. And if you, any sort of like studying you do about, personal growth and empowerment, if you take responsibility for a situation, you could say that if you look at your life is sort of the movie of, of what you believe. Because what you believe ultimately plays out in your life. So my thought is, what are your beliefs about men, about relationships, about you being in a loving relationship? Because a killer belief that you've carried forward from the past, like men never treat me well, or men don't respect me, or I'm not worthy of love, can really play out in unconsciously finding yourself drawn into these kind of situations where if you perhaps had a different belief, you might say, if the guy wanted to cancel and said, come over to my house, you might say, I'm sorry, but that doesn't feel comfortable for me. And it could have just ended right there, but there was something that sort of drew you into that situation.
Yeah. Part of me just says, oh, you can't come on a date, but you want me to come over to your house, which means you have the time, but no.
Yeah, and just trusting that feeling, and so it could be some assertiveness stuff on your part. Maybe you don't trust yourself enough to know when something feels off, and so you just sort of end up feeling sort of like lured into situations. That happens. And another thing I wrote down was fear of commitment. If you have a fear of commitment yourself, it's very easy to sort of fall into these kind of situations and then say, look at that guy, he's this or he's that. But at the end of the day, it's satisfying your need to not commit as well. Because
so you're saying
well, because
and let me ask, because you're saying that if I date guys that I think are losers, then I don't have to get into that relationship?
Right, like none of these circumstances are calling for a commitment. They're the people that don't want to commit, and if you're also a person who is afraid of committing, it's that kind of thing.
It almost makes it easier in a way. Not
right,
it
sort of justifies your fear of not committing. So, everything that we do, every sort of pattern that we have serves us in a way. So I would be inclined to say, take that time with yourself and say, what am I really, like, what are my beliefs here about men, about dating, about relationship? Where am I in terms of committing? How do I really feel about if someone were to say, if you were to get close with someone and everything were to go, appropriately in the way that felt comfortable and safe for you, and it were to start to take off, I mean, what are your feelings about that? What are your feelings about going through with a commitment? So, that's sort of my thoughts about it.
Yeah, that's good. I was thinking, in the family, I just had another thought of the family. You did sort of run me by the family board at one point. Right,
the family. Yeah. I think most families, no matter how, every family's got their own form of dysfunction and discord, and, no family's perfect. But I think that in my experience, families, they do have a pretty good sense of who seems right for you. My family, they all loved Richard. And I think Richard, he probably could have come in with a couple of tattoos, and he probably could have come in on a motorcycle, but I think ultimately they were, they see that the difference that being with him makes in me, and and how I feel and my happiness. So, I suppose maybe there are some families that you're never going to please them, they're never going to be happy, and then I think, Richard's right. You really have to find the courage to sort of, go to the beat of your own drummer, really.
Norm liked me.
Right. My mom's husband, he was very, very choosy, and he liked Richard right away. So, I think the right person with the right heart, it depends, regardless of like what their hobbies and habits and religion is, I think the right person they'll find their way in with the family, if you're really important to them. So, sometimes that just takes a little time.
If you're important to the guy, and if the guy is important to you, then you overcome that other crap.
Exactly.
You could even date a Catholic or something like that.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out. Nice to see you. So, it's...
But thank you for the question. You know,
Yeah,
it is a bones
it's
what
never
we
a
do.
surface thing, you know. It's
No. There's always stuff I say you got to look under the hood.
got to do some excavating.
Yeah, so by
Yeah.
all means, talk to Jill. She's the one
Yeah.
who knows relationship.
I can,
I'm just
I can help you
her.
excavate.
Yeah,
You have a tractor, but
yeah. You have an
That's not
excavator? Wow. What? You've been holding out on me? You have an excavator?
no, it's like an emotional journey.
Okay.
That kind of excavation.
Okay.
So anyway, I wish you insight and healing, and I've definitely been there, and I'm here to say that you can overcome all of these kind of dating experiences and get on board with something more meaningful. So
Yeah, well, you like me even though I'm Jewish, right?
Richard.
Yes.
All right, so here we go. Number 2.
All right.
Jill and Richard. Dear Jill and Richard, I have been married for 17 years, and I'm about ready to pull my hair out.
Ooh, how would you look with no hair? I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
There are so many things that I want to have done around the house, and my husband never seems to get around to making any of it happen. He is super handy, and yet I feel like I'm waiting years for things to get done. I have tried leaving a list and tried thinking about other things. And I just can't shake the frustration. Can you offer any ideas? Thanks.
How about that ice maker?
Well, let me just introduce you to the concept of guy time. Guy timeline.
Oh! All right.
You want to, you got any ideas?
I don't know. I am a pretty task-oriented guy.
You
And
are.
if something isn't working, I really want to get it done. But that's me. I don't know.
Yeah, that kind of worked out. See, if you know about the 5 love languages, you should look into it. You can just Google it, and you can take a little quiz and find out what your love language is. Because that was actually funny. That was the first thing I wrote was acts of service. One of my love languages is acts of service. So the fact that Richard is task-oriented really works for me. Because he, there's stuff that since we moved into this new house, for example,
Yeah.
there's been a boatload of stuff that's gone.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways.
The ice maker, the dishwasher, the well, the hot tub, and so Richard's good. He's always got, Richard keeps his own honey-do list, actually. In fact, so well that sometimes he'll say to me, Jill, is there, anything that's really like burning in your mind that you want to have done? And he's always on top of it. So that works because that's how I feel loved. So could be that somehow hubby is not quite getting how much the stuff means to you. That it actually makes you feel loved. If it sounds like you are an acts of service kind of person because you're feeling real discontent in this area. So it could be a simple thing of just helping him to understand, this is like, for some people, this you fixing this thing or let's get going on this project could mean as much as saying I love you or, flowers could mean to someone else.
Mm-hmm. That would be a good exercise for both of you to work through. The love language thing was really, it's
Right,
quite
it could be
meaningful.
fun to take the quiz together because then you can also find out what his love languages are. And it's just really helpful because, he might be a quality time guy. And so he might think that he's just sort of hanging around having a cup of coffee and thinking, this is like he's doing a great thing and he's just there and he's, it can get misunderstood sometimes.
I'm thinking you could call a contractor.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would definitely start with letting him know, really how important this stuff is to you, and not so much the stuff, but him wanting to do the things for you. I think is what makes it.
Conversation. Mm-hmm. How does the conversation go when you say, hey, hon, the ice maker isn't working, and you said you can do it, but it's just not getting done. And it would just really be important to me if you could look at that. I know you can do it, but
Right.
the drain doesn't work, and the faucet's plugged up, and the
Right, because you said that you've tried leaving lists and thinking about other things, but somehow the leaving the list is not getting through.
that wouldn't cut it for me.
And the thinking about other things, you're still like really pissed off. So, I would really just try being vulnerable and letting him know how much this stuff means to you. My other thoughts are you having fun? What's the climate in your relationship right now outside of all this stuff? Or is this just getting to you so much that, you can't get past it? And sometimes that conversation can sort of open up a whole bunch of stuff, so.
Well, I could ask a direct question. Is his inability to get to the to-do list impacting other parts of your relationship and directly, is it coming out in the bedroom? And is he angry?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just a thought. I don't know.
Right. It's right. It can just sort of do the snowball, big snowball downhill.
Yeah.
And so in my experience with Richard, I feel like it's always better to sort of take it back to the beginning and say, why is this bothering me so much? Another thing I wrote down is depression, which it could be a shot in the dark, but sometimes I think when I know for me, like when I'm having like a low period and feeling down, it's the things that, like you said, I'm waiting for years for things to get done. So the things are kind of getting done eventually. And so, like I said, I was kind of joking about the guy timeline, but guys kind of do have their own timelines with getting things done because, they have their own priorities and things like that. But I know that sometimes when I'm feeling at a low point, it's easy to sort of focus on stuff that's not perfect and sort of make it into a bigger thing.
Well, what else is he doing? And we're just going to just take your letter exactly as it's stated. What else is he doing? When the ice maker isn't working, is he in front of the TV with a beer watching a football game? That could get you upset, I guess.
Right, and yeah, and where that feels like a tragedy to you somehow, he's just enjoying a relaxing moment in front of the TV because somehow he's not getting it. Or also, I think I noticed something you said. He's super handy, so what do you say? They say you get more flies with honey. You get more bees with honey, more flies with
flies
sugar.
with honey. Flies with honey.
You get more flies with honey. And so, maybe try praising him a little bit for, some of the stuff he's doing right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we all like to be appreciated. Me personally, tell me what I'm doing right and I'll do more great stuff. If you come in and say,
really?
If you come in and say, those dinners you've been cooking lately have just sort of, or it doesn't seem like you're really cooking dinner enough, or, I'm just using that as an example, but my reaction, I think any of us are going to be like, hey, Janet, my reaction is going to be like, actually, I suddenly just don't feel like cooking at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, I think, so I don't know. Hopefully, we've put out a lot there.
I get, and I know these are serious questions for you, and I'll
these
apologize for
sort of,
but I'm always got the joke in mind, and I say call a contractor, just get out the tools. You get out the tools, and you're going to fix the drawer. And he's going to be like, "What? You can't? No, you're doing that wrong. I'll do it."
Yeah, there's a zillion different ways it could play out. Also, I wrote down your life, question mark. So, I don't know if you got 17 years. I don't know if you got some kids around. I don't know what you're doing with your life and your time, but, are you sort of engaged in other things too, where, you're not like, hyper obsessing over the stuff that's not getting done. I guess it's sort of like, kind of, I guess that concept of get a bigger problem. Like, do you have other things that are, engaging you where, yeah, maybe it's annoying that this project hasn't gotten done yet, but, it's not like end of the world sort of stuff. And
Well,
because sometimes it really does take a while to get to projects. I mean, we might sit around and say, oh yeah, we need a new couch, or like, oh God, I don't know what, this or that, sit around and say, God, it'd be great if we did this, and then it takes a while sometimes.
but if there's I know you say I make my own honey-do list, which I do. Mm-hmm. But then also, it's communication. It's when there's something that really has to get done, you let me know. Good. So I move it up one step on the honey-do list. But no, it then becomes a priority to me because I want to make you happy.
Right.
Right?
That's very nice.
Well, it's, it's sort of the way it goes.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. You guys have been together a while. He wants to make you happy, and he might just need a little direction.
Yeah, but if he doesn't, if he's angry, then...
Right, unless he's angry about something. Yeah, which I guess
Could
a little
happen.
conversation. I think a vulnerable conversation is in order.
Good word.
Right?
A vulnerable conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because even if you just have the conversation of, like what you wrote here, like, hey, honey, I don't know, like it's important to me. Some of the stuff gets done, and it just seems like it's taking a while, and I'm like, I get frustrated, and I don't want to be frustrated, and not having to have any solutions, but just speak of the truth. Speak the truth, lady.
If you got enough the tools, I'd definitely get in the project.
Yeah.
I would.
All right. Well, so there's our 2 cents or 3 cents or 25 cents on that one.
Yeah, that was worth a nickel, I think.
All right, a nickel. A nickel's worth.
Please keep the questions coming. They, as much as you're sharing your struggles, they are the bones of what we do, and we like that.
Yeah, and thanks for fighting the good fight of of lasting relationships, because sometimes sometimes it just gets gets tough, and it's easy to walk away, even if you just sort of walk away emotionally and sort of start living as roommates. That can happen easily, and so I really commend you that you're not settling with with living with frustration and resentment and lack of closeness. And, because that's what we all want that. Nobody wants to be living like roommates and, and just being polite to each other. And, we all want that juicy stuff, the juicy love, like you have in the beginning. And we obviously believe that it's possible to sustain it, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this.
Well, I just think it almost always comes down to an open dialogue between partners. And it can't, I'm not saying open dialogue is going to happen 24 hours a day, but there's times, and when they are, when you can have a conversation. And if you don't have the conversation, you put it in your file drawer. And when your file drawer gets too big, it gets annoying, it gets frustrating, it's almost insurmountable. So.
Yeah, the snowplow effect, right?
Yeah,
is that what you
the
call
snowplow.
that?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so, all right, guys. So that's our show. Our next show is going to be February, coming up on the month of love, Valentine's Day. Heart donuts at Dunkin' Donuts.
Really?
And romantic getaways. And
Wow.
did you hear that? Romantic getaways?
Is it on my list?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's got that on his list. So put that on your list, guys. Romantic getaway this month for all you all you lovebirds.
Hey, and even if you don't feel like you're a lovebird,
And even if you're
maybe-
single, go have a date. Do something nice for yourself on Valentine's Day, because you can love yourself. Hey, if you're alone, you're gonna love yourself, right?
That's right.
Right. Well, all right, everybody. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Have a good week. Keep warm if you're in the
Stay
colder
warm.
region. And all right.
You wanna
What?
What?
Kiss. We're supposed to. Yeah, we usually have a kiss.
We do, usually.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling a little annoyed at you right now because the dinner you cooked the other night wasn't good enough.
Right, but kissing is your love language, so. All right, everybody.
All right.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Talk to you later.
Ciao.
Bye.